Hello, this is Grant, one half of the Herdsman, coming to you today to talk to you about episode 13 of Fullmetal Alchemist 2003. Okay, I'm pretty sure that they just invented this episode just for the sake of making up the last episode, because this episode is friggin' awesome. Uh, it has. It's another filler episode, a lot like the last two, but here it's kind of aware that it's a filler episode. The last time they were trying to fill space to kind of elaborate on the main plot, and it just bombs. This one, it is clearly a side story, and it's actually written by the person who wrote the series. It's hilarious. It has one of my favorite comedic scenes in it. So the story of this is that the Fullmetal Alchemist feels inferior to the Flame Alchemist, Roy Mustang, and he wants to essentially prove to him that he can be just as good as he is, despite his age and shortness. And one of the things I love about this episode is the comedic timing. This really cements these characters. You really feel like these are. Sorry about all the stuttering. You really feel like they're a team, like they've worked together for very long. That just really shows some great voice acting. And my favorite part is this part where they're trying to decide on what to do with a dog because these people are in the military, so they can't have a dog with them. And eventually one of them takes the dog after everyone else looking psychotic. I mean, one of them is thinking about eating the dog. One of them is scared of the dog, and it's kind of funny, given that this character is a big, burly man, but this dog is like a pug small. It's really that small, and he's just reacting as if a lion has entered the room. And the person to take it is Riza Hawkeye, who is this rather calm, collected woman, and she sees this dog peeing on the side of a wall, and then proceeds to shoot an outline over the dog, and says, well, now he's house-trained. You won't be doing that anymore, will ya? And the guy who gave her the dog is saying, you guys are all crazy! That's just brilliant. You see, once again, Maze Hughes and his love for his daughter, which just goes to some insane lengths. He creates, right before there is a match between Edward Elric and Roy Mustang, he creates this giant, maybe 15 to 20 foot poster. I mean, I'm just guessing there. It's hard to tell when it's a cartoon. But I'm guessing a 15, 20 foot poster of his 3-year-old daughter. It is adorable. And everybody throws stuff at him saying, get on with it! It's just so beautiful. You just love this story. It's so endearing. It's comedic. It has some good action scenes, which, as I'm reviewing this series again, there are not as many good action scenes as I remember. Don't get me wrong, it's very action-packed. It's a very well-done series. But it seems like whenever they try to use alchemy in this show, it seems like it's a lot more flashing lights. What really elevates this show is just these characters, that you really get into these characters. And, yeah, the comedy's good. the music, you get a little bit more into kind of the trauma of this series as well, which is amazing. The comedy with this heavy-handed drama of Roy, because he's a soldier, and he hopes to eventually be the leader of his country, but he is suffering basically from PTSD, and that plays out in this episode. He hesitates during a fight, and that causes him to nearly lose the fight. And when I say nearly, it means that their superior officer came in and said, look, if you two fight, it's going to be a lot harder for you to clean up the collateral damage. So as they're cleaning up the collateral, they're talking about war, the harshness of war that he was in. And yeah, this is a great episode. It's greatly balanced. It introduces bits that are going to be exploited on in the series later, such as the secretary to the Führer, one of the main villains. And yeah, you probably guessed that he was going to be a villain right from the second I said Führer, so it's not going to come as a spoiler. One of the secretaries to the Führer is one of the big bad guys, like on his level bad guys, and I believe she's introduced in this episode. So with that, I've kind of summed up this episode. It's very simple, it's very good, and until next time, don't be afraid to join the herd. Yeah.